Padres Hot Tub, everybody. We're back. Greg Elsten, Chris Reed, Raphie Cantor back with you. Recording a couple days later. Had some various work stuff that pushed things back. But guess what? The Padres didn't do jack squat during those 2 days. So it don't matter. We're here with you on January 10th, recording in the night of January 10th. You're probably watching it or listening to it on January 11th. And we say thank you so much for continuing to support Padres Hot Tub through the most consequential year in Padres history and into 2024. And God knows where we go from here. Mr. Chris Reed, good day to you, sir. How are you?
Good day to you, sir. Your haberdashery is enchanting.
I should have a hat if I'm going to have a
haberdashery.
Oh, yeah. That was on the other show, by the way, guys. A lot of people have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We just went directly from one to the other.
Inside baseball, kids.
That's Raphie Cantor. By the way, Raphie, we had a Dodger troll in the YouTube chat today on Annie and Elsten. And I admittedly did bring his discussion out in the air because he was ripping Padres fans for celebrating after what he called their Mickey Mouse Wild Card Series win in 2020. So then I pointed out on the air that so that means that your World Series title is also Mickey Mouse, right? Like we just agree. Everyone is, thank you for pointing it out. 2020 isn't real and it didn't count. And you know what he wrote in the chat? He wrote, I was always a Raphie guy anyway.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for engaging with my burner account on air. We've been getting a lot of good feedback. Yeah, it's funny. We do occasionally get guys. First of all, hello everyone on YouTube. I hope you're watching us right now because we have been getting, when we did the Soto and Shohei episode, we got like a lot of people that were like cry harder, like whatever. And I was like, I don't know, it like made me happy in some way because it's like our reach is expanding. Like we're hitting other markets. We've been told that the Padres are a small market team that do not have an influence, and yet here are the Dodgers fans in our Menchies below. So anyway, I'm excited to be here. We have a week where truly nothing has happened. We actually do have a pretty stacked menu for you guys tonight.
You stop talking. Good.
Oh no, that almost never happens.
When you freeze, we try to act like nothing happened so that when you finish, everyone thinks it was cool. But in order for it to work, you have to keep talking right through.
It's worked every time up until this moment.
It literally has. Me and Chris have gotten away with it every time until now. This time you unfroze and you weren't talking. We're like, damn it.
It was only like a second. It was only, if anything, it was like those times
amazing
where.
Stuff. All right, quick housekeeping.
Those times, it's happening right now. Clearly, it's like those times where there's like the reporters in Afghanistan on the news where there'd be like a 2-second delay. It's just
exactly.
Yeah.
Remember the name, guys? Do you remember the name? The Scud Stud, Richard Kent.
Oh, Richard so Kent, terrible.
That's like original Gulf War. We're talking about V 2.0.
Okay, fair
Electric
enough.
Boogaloo.
Yeah. Listen, I still celebrate the OG, the Scud Stud. All right, quick housekeeping. Best way to support this show, patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub. We've got a vibrant community. When you join that community, you get to be in our Discord. Trust me when I tell you, with my new gig, I have to be on social media way more than I want to, and the Discord is at least 17.6 times better than being on Twitter. I mean, that's at the absolute minimum. It is that much better. You get that for just $5 a month at the minimum. Some people support the show to a higher level. We give them more when they do that, and we thank them so much. And Chris, what's going on with baseball cards and the Patreon community?
Dude, the Patreon community vibranted harder than it has for a while for me. We did our first PHT breaks last night. Basically, what a break is when a bunch of people split a box of baseball cards. And we had some of our patrons pull some really fun ones. I just want to show you two of them. One of them, this was the best card of the night. This Trey Turner Team USA autographed to 10. Just a very beautiful card. And this beautiful man from Team Colombia.
Oh!
We had
So
better
sexy.
cards than this, but no better cards than this.
No,
Our
that's the best
beloved
card I've ever
MTL
seen.
Ryan won that. Let Salas Play won the Trey Turner. We pulled a Zach Geloff Team Israel autograph. Lots
yeah.
of fun stuff. So if you're into baseball cards, our patrons get access to the Baseball Cards channel, where we will be running some breaks of boxes here and there. I don't know how regular it'll be, probably around once a month. But if you're a patron of the show, take a look in the Discord at the Baseball Cards channel and come have some fun with us.
The other thing I wanted to mention, because that is an incredible thing to mention, but just all the different ways that our community grows. As you guys know, last year, fantasy just went to a completely different level on the Padres Hot Tub Discord, and we're gearing up for another year of it. Monty, the commissioner, has just sent out today. I saw the missives to all corners of the land. So we've got a legacy keeper league that's moving into its second season now, but we have a 4-tier promotion, relegation, ladder fantasy league that takes place where if you come in now, you're popping into tier 4 and looking to get into those top 2 spots in advance. And if you're in the top league like I am, like you're not wanting to get into that tournament at the end of the year that sends you down a league. So it really is fun. It adds so much to it to know in the middle of the season, like instead of, I'm going to give up on my team, I don't care, I'm not going to win. It's like, hang on, I do not want, like I literally played that league like I don't want to be relegated. How can I finish 8th? You know, like how can I be Tottenham and just be in the middle all the time? So it's a ton of fun. If you're a baseball fan, if you're a fantasy fan, you're going to find the league for you. We have run for every pro league so far, including NHL, fantasy inside PHT. I'm in the NBA league. It's tremendous. It's going strong once again. So check it out, patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub. Last thing, just, real quick, support the show, Annie and Elsten. We're on Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on 97.3 The Fan in San Diego. We are live on YouTube every day. So now I'm like on YouTube 4 hours a day. It's wild. So check it out. If you're watching us on YouTube on our Padres Hot Tub channel, thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, click like. But go ahead, subscribe to the 97.3 The Fan channel as well, and you can check out Annie Heilbrunn and Braden Soprano and myself Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 2. Guys, some breaking news. And it came out of San Diego's State of the City address tonight at City Hall with Mayor Todd Gloria. He announced that process is underway for one of the streets heading to Petco Park to be renamed Peter Seidler Way. So the city of San Diego taking official action today and tonight behind Mayor Todd Gloria. And I don't think they're going to rename Tony Gwynn Drive or Trevor Hoffman Way, but Peter Seidler Way will be one of the streets leading to Petco Park now in San Diego and forevermore. And that's good stuff. Good on you, Todd Gloria.
That is good stuff. And I just want to say that the ownership of the team, I hope, cares as much about Peter Seidler's legacy in the town as its politicians do.
It's not a discussion topic, right?
Yeah, I like that whomever continues to own the team going forward will have to get to the ballpark via Peter Seidler Way and just be reminded, that the street that it's paved with, they're standing on the shoulders of a giant. So, it's on a purely on its face, it's like one of those like vibes political moves that's like doesn't really cost you anything, but you can just do it and it's good and like well done. But it makes me feel good, so I don't care. I like it. So good on you, Mayor Gloria. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I like it too. Well done, Mayor Gloria. Doing a simple good thing is still a good thing.
That's true.
And they did the right thing. On to the Padres. Quoting one of our great patrons, speaking of Patreons, quoting Alex Pena, AJ asleep at the wheel. Where are you, man? Where are you? I have gotten to the point, boys. I'm literally taunting him now on the Padres flagship. I stared in the camera on YouTube today and I said, AJ, until you make a move every single day on this show, I'm going to make up a fake trade. Just to create the impetus. Like, maybe you guys need a writer's room. Maybe you need us to punch up some ideas there on Peter Seidler Way and Tony Gwynn Drive. Like, do you need a little help? Let's go, baby. Let's go. Well, of course, the Padres did do something. Yesterday, they had their Zoom introduction for Yuki Matsui. Prior to that, they've signed the Korean reliever Woo-Suk Go, who comes out of the KBO. I think our bullpen's done now. You've got Bobby Bullets, you've got Matsui, you've got Cosgrove, you've got Steven Wilson, you've got Enyel De Los Santos. There's someone I'm forgetting in there, and then of course you've got whoever doesn't win fifth starter. I'm guessing like Randy Vasquez. Cosgrove? I thought I did, but if not, Tom Cosgrove for sure as the other left-hander. And I think it's okay. I actually think Randy Vasquez, his curveball being compared to Lugo, getting a 70 grade in Fangraphs, I feel like that's the kind of thing that Niebla's going to get a hold of that kid, and he could be a real fifth inning, sixth inning type weapon for this club. Right now, I feel okay about the bullpen. I know I said the same thing last year, but right now I feel pretty okay about this bullpen.
I'd feel a lot better with one more late innings person. I don't think we're getting that person. So I feel I'm generally excited about the team. And Robert Suarez, when he is going, is as good as they get. Watching a guy pump 100 is a lot of fun. So looking forward to seeing him and getting a long, healthy season out of him.
So the thing about this bullpen is when you lay out the names, I am not okay, this is a lights out Padres bullpen that we're accustomed to, but I'm also not shaking in my boots, fearful in the way that I think traditionally would be if I heard some of those names, just because I really do have complete faith in Ruben Niebla and Fritz Magic back there, to put together a good staff. But if you guys had to take a guess right now at what at 1 out of 30 where the Padres bullpen stacks up in terms of projected WAR in Major League Baseball, what would be your number?
Low.
Because I have it.
23.
I was going to say 22.
You're both so close. It's actually 24. So slightly shittier than what you had both guessed. So yeah, that's with Matsui, that's with Woo-Suk Go, that's with Suarez, De Los Santos. I mean, it's with everyone. Yeah, not super inspiring. I do think that there's a chance that there's some guys that come up from the minor leagues, and I'm curious. For instance, this includes Johnny Brito. It doesn't include Randy Vasquez, who might be used in a in a relief role. We'll talk about the minor leagues a little bit later, but Jairo Iriarte is someone who I think the Padres might use in a relief role because he's probably ready now to be a reliever in the major leagues, even though he projects as a starter and people are pretty high on him as a starter. So I don't know, but yeah, there's a lot that's still left to be desired from this group, but it's not I think the end of the world.
Yeah, and part of the projections, right? I mean, for Matsui, they have to be conservative. For Go, they have to be conservative. Suarez wasn't a highly projected player coming out of Japan when he came over here in 2022. Some of this you have to have a trust level in terms of the scouting and what they see in these pitchers and what they think they're going to be able to turn into. But, the Padres bullpen conked a lot of games in the 6th and the 7th inning last year. And the Hader House rules were in place in the 9th. And, when he was allowed to pitch, when the smoke came out of the chimney and he was given the ability to come out of the bullpen, it was great for San Diego, but that'll be someone else's problem next year. So the one thing I'm really hopeful for, and maybe this is a little bit of trolling on Hader, but we know Suarez will come in with 2 outs in the 8th. We
Yeah.
know he'll come in with 1 out in the 8th. I think that Matsui will come in no matter what situation. Go is going to come in. Cosgrove, Wilson, all these guys are going to come. Really, that's not a bad bullpen. I mean, Wilson can take a step forward. De Los Santos can,
Sure.
if used properly, is a good pitcher. Cosgrove and Matsui on the other side, that's pretty good. And I think you're going to have someone like Pedro Avila in that bullpen as well. That could be the 3-inning option for the club. So I feel like of all the things that we can worry about with our beloved San Diego Padres, I'm going to put the bullpen on a shelf for now. And I'm just going to say it's going to ride on Bobby Bullets. If Bobby Bullets is living up to the name we've given him, then this bullpen will be good. If Suarez can't do the job, it's going to be super shaky.
Sure, but I also am curious to see if there will be a philosophy change in terms of dead set closer. Like Matsui is a matchup king. So is Tom Cosgrove. So is Robert Suarez, frankly. So I'm curious to see if it'll be less. It's the 9th inning, so we're going to this guy, and more. Well, we're facing 5, 6, 7 of the lineup from the other squad, and they've got 2 lefties. So let's wait or use Cosgrove or whoever hasn't been used that day yet. And not having a dedicated closer, because more teams are going to that route, that methodology of bullpen management. And I kind of hope the Padres do too.
In his last year as manager, Mike Shildt had Alex Reyes get 29 saves and Giovanni Gallegos get 14 saves. And Ryan Helsley, who is now the closer, had 1 save. So he's already, in literally his last managerial season, used tandem closers. He indicated that in his most recent press conference. And I will tell you guys, Thursday on Annie and Elsten, we're going to have him on at 10:30. And I'm going to ask him that question if Annie doesn't. Someone's going to ask him the question in terms of how not who's your closer, but what's your approach on this? What do you think is the most effective way to handle this? So I'm really curious how he handles it. Not for nothing. The other thing I'm most excited about for the 2024 Padres is Mike Shildt. I'm completely sold on Mike Shildt now. Like I am. I just feel like his buy-in is so high on everything he's doing. And, God bless Bob Melvin, who I wanted to shrink wrap and protect, but I don't think his buy-in was quite as high as Mike Shildt's. Like, this dude already had he got the money, he got the pedigree. He came in, he was like, sorry guys. Shildt knows this is his job. And I'm geeked for him. I vibe with this guy. I'm excited.
I only counter with, we don't really have a choice. You know what I mean?
No, you don't have a choice.
Kind of stoked on him, especially you, Craig. You got to talk about him for 4 hours every day. Like you better hope this guy is like the bee's knees.
To be happy.
Yeah, well, exactly.
I don't know. It can be fun to stake out adversarial relationships, but what I think the announcement of the coaching staff fueled my excitement a little bit to see so many minor league guys where Shildt was heavily involved coming up to the club at a time when we're probably going to see some minor league guys come up to the club. I think that's smart. I think that's setting a good foundation for more success from our younger Padres.
Okay, as we have discussed Matsui and Usako, the rest of the market has continued.
Usako, is it not?
No, it is Ooh.
Yeah.
It's Ooh.
I talked to a Korean friend.
Ooh, Usako.
Usako.
Yeah.
Usako. Okay.
Usako. The market continues. The market has run amok. Nothing's changed. It's the same. Luis Severino was one of the worst pitchers in baseball. He got $13 million. Lance Lynn led the league in homers. He got $10 million. This last weekend, Sean Manaea, who literally told us he quit on the Padres in 2022 and then pitched only slightly better.
What he said.
I know. He said he was lazy. Not that he quit, just that he was lazy about what he did. He got 2 years, $28 million and an opt-out. Unbelievable. And it turns out Shota Imanaga might be the bargain of the summer.
I know.
2 years, $30 million with Chicago, or it moves to 4 years, $53 million, or it moves to 5 years, $80 million. It's one of these tricky, wacky deals, but also Imanaga might not even be that good. He might be a home run Pez dispenser in the big leagues. So the market has proven itself to be above the Padres' means at this point. And we had previously talked about, well, are you going to chop up and do two $12 million players? Or are you going to try and get one $23 million player with the money we have left? Bob Nightingale, who's never wrong about anything ever, writing in USA Today, the universally correct Bob Nightingale, in his prediction column for the remainder of the Winter Boys, I don't know if you saw this, but he predicted the Padres would be silent, spending no more than $5 million on any player the remainder of the season, as in his words, their World Series dreams have now dwindled down to merely trying to get the wild card, which is how the last two National League champions were determined, by winning the wild card. You fucking idiot. Oh my God. Like, crazy. But I do agree, though. I don't think the Padres are spending any money on anyone the rest of the summer.
I had two reactions to this. The first was, it's Bob Nightingale, so we know they're going to sign, Cody Bellinger now. And then my other reaction was, oh, he's probably almost definitely right.
Yeah, the Imanaga details really shocked me. First, because it's like an AJ ass deal too that he signed that has all these weird escalators and things in it. That like it's 2 years and 30, but it might go to 580, and there's like all these other things in it. But I mean, Imanaga is someone who like literally you couldn't have drawn up someone who more fits one of our needs right now, like a lefty starter. We're kind of on a kick about signing players who are coming from Japan or Korea. And, he's like the type of guy who, Clay Davenport released some projections a couple months ago of like Jung-Hoo Lee, Yamamoto, etc. And Imanaga's 50th percentile projection for the year was 143 innings of 4.04 ERA baseball. So, that's like a, the 3-4 starter, like sort of range, which is like kind of what we need. And he's a lefty, which is kind of what we need.
And he would be playing in Petco Park, a place where home runs don't necessarily fly, with Fernando Tatis Jr. on the right field.
Exactly.
Unlike Wrigley Field, where the ball is going to sail.
Yeah.
And the Padres currently are estimated opening day payroll as of like right now recording is $156 million, which is $99 million less than what we spent last year. And our luxury tax threshold right now estimate is $211.6 million. So we have $26 million to play with there. And, so more than half of that $26 million going to Shota Imanaga, like, might be tough when we still have some like outfield question marks that we need to fill. But at the same time, like, I could have seen us genuinely doing it. And the fact that they didn't, I think, says a lot.
I think it says we are out on everybody. I think it literally says we're out on the entire market until February 10th. Like, I think pitchers and catchers report around Valentine's Day. So, like the week before,
when the music stops and all the chairs are taken.
Correct. Playing on desperation, playing on the guys who fall through the cracks. And let's be clear, I've been making this such a point of emphasis on the radio show, and we've done a great job of covering this all the way through. But don't think this has anything to do with anything but the single biggest economic disparity that is propagated in Major League Baseball. All right? The Dodgers have spent $1.2 billion on free agents this offseason. Guess what? They've got an $8 billion TV deal over 25 years that cannot be subverted. by the way that it was drawn up. The Yankees are looking to get super active. The Mets, SNY, the Yes Network. The Cubs signing Managa, Marquee Sports is their network, and it's going strong. The only, Kansas City has not lost their Bally Sports deal. They've got a new owner. That's why they're spending some money. But the Rangers won the World Series, and they haven't spent crap because Diamond Sports is dropping them. And they just haven't announced it yet. The Guardians are getting dropped, and the teams that are getting dropped don't have money. And it's just become this gigantic who has a local TV network deal that'll pay for their salary and who doesn't. And that's essentially the determining factor right now in the market in Major League Baseball. It's not who's aggressive. It's not who's positioning themselves to win. It's who's got the trough of TV cash that doesn't get split with the rest of the league. That's the Dodgers. It's the Mets. It's the Yankees. It's the Cubs. And those are the teams that are spending money.
You're not wrong, Craig, and that should change, but it's not going to. So what could change is billionaires being willing to spend money on their baseball team.
Yeah,
we used to have one of those. We used to have one of those.
I know. And like he gets a street named after him. Like I just wish that Major League Baseball and its ownership would take notes.
Well, would you like to know the Padres outfield for 2024? Because I saw it tonight.
You saw it when you saw it? Was it in like an Arby's?
I slipped in the bathtub, and when I woke up, I saw them. No, I tell you what I saw. I saw the starting lineup tonight for Las Estrellas in the Dominican Republic. And I saw Jurickson Profar with Fernando Tatis Jr. and Raimel Tapia. Boys, that's our outfield this year. I am putting my chip down today.
On Tapia, too?
Yes.
Wow.
Tati's going to be cruising on back from the Dominican saying, AJ, I got your guys. They're right here. My vibe boys, Tapia, Profar. And those guys will probably sign combined for $4 million. And that fits right in what we have to spend. And it's going to be Profar in left, Tapia in center, Tatis in right. That is your opening day 2024 Padres outfield.
So they'll only sign for a combined $4 million, but they will also be bad at baseball. So think about that. Think about that next time.
Hey, put that in your pipe and smoke it, huh?
Yeah, exactly. You didn't like. Sorry, go ahead. I was gonna do
no,
bits.
No, keep going.
I was just gonna say, like, oh, hey, you didn't like watching Trent Grisham at the plate, but what if he was skinny and a little bit faster and also didn't hit?
Yes,
and wasn't as good at defense.
With the glove. Yeah,
not nearly as good at defense. But guess what? Also, Jurickson, start growing out the dreadlocks. We need an all dreadlock outfield now. We've got Tapia, we've got Tatis. Profar, it's on you, bro. It's on you. King Vibe Merchant is coming. I feel 99.44 pure that it's going to be Jurickson Profar in left field to start the season. And quite frankly, okay, whatever. Like, honestly, at this point, and you're going to hear a variation of this argument momentarily, $13 million for Jock Peterson, $3 million for Jurickson Profar. Do you really think you're going to get more out of Jock Peterson? Like, how much more?
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit.
If it's 60 OPS points, is that worth $12 million is the question. Like, that's where it's at. And, that might be the difference between a wild card. Craig, I want you to be so wrong about this. And I hope you're wrong. But I also kind of half expect that the Tatis family at some point in the next 10 years is going to demand a trade from the Padres because of how they every year seem to, keep pulling on the line for, there was a rumor that he was obligated to play 20 games only by the Padres. The Padres had said you get to play 20 games and they had asked for an extension and it was granted or not granted, and then the Padres went on the radio and said, that there has been nothing asked for and nothing given in regards to that 20-game limit. So I feel like Tatis, if he wants it, give it to him, man. Like if that's what he wants, that's how he wants to be the captain of the outfield, and those are his guys. Let's do it, man.
I'm not saying I want these players, okay? I'm not saying I want these players. I'm saying they're going to be ours.
You say you want them to wear dreadlocks.
I just want Profar to grow out his hair. That's all I'm really saying. But I think we're stuck with these cats, man. And would you rather have Raimel Tapia or spend $11 million on Michael A. Taylor?
Ugh.
Because that's the rate. In Dennis Lin's column that came out on Wednesday morning, it literally said the Padres pursued Kevin Kiermaier but didn't want to spend $10.5 million.
I can't hang on, guys. Yes, I would rather spend money on Michael A. Taylor. What the fuck are you talking about? I want a competent outfielder.
Raphie, you have $20 million in a pocket of beans to pay for these guys.
Yeah,
it's not my money. Like what?
I know that goes to what I was saying about the billionaires, Raphie. But that's not what's happening. The objective of the team is clearly to reset the CBT, to get all those penalties lifted, to function as a middle of the road, middle class American nuclear family ball club, not paying for, good and nice things.
This is where I've settled, Rafe. I mean, because look, I do believe like Eddie Rosario is not that much better. I would rather have Jorge Soler than pretty much all the other guys, but then we're going to have 6 right-handed bats in our lineup, and that's going to be a problem. So at least my silly Dominican outfield of Las Estrellas is all switch hitters or left-handed, except for Tatis. We're getting a little more. I can't talk myself into it. I'm not kidding.
Doesn't Tapia suck with the glove though? Isn't he?
He's
bad?
Not great. He's not great. By the way, neither's Profar.
Did he play in the major leagues last year?
Yes, he played in the major. He played in the big leagues.
Okay. Yeah, he got DFA'd. He went
bibbity bouncy.
That's what I remember. That's
yeah.
I'm
not saying I want it. I'm saying it's what it will be.
If Nando wants it, Nando gets it, baby.
Hey, you know who's even cheaper than Tapia and Profar is someone named Jacob Marcy.
Yeah, Jacob Marcy.
Exactly. Which I think
my argument.
I think if we're putting our chips down and being like, that's what I think's gonna happen, like AJ is so intentional with every single thing he says. Even the gibberish talk is intentional. Yeah. And the fact that he's thrown out Marcy's name a few times in press conferences, it just makes me nervous. It makes me a little nervous.
That definitely means he's not eminent at all, Raphie. He's not eminent.
Well, okay, you guys are transitioning us. Eric Longenhagen wrote a prospect report on the San Diego Padres' imminent arrival minor leaguers. Certainly, we could quibble with his selection within the column. First of all, it starts with Ethan Salas. And if Ethan Salas is on the team this year, I'm going to fucking riot. So
I do have to defend Longenhagen a little bit, only because in the article he says players that play at premium defensive positions, he tends to put them as imminent faster than some of the other guys, because those are the guys who are more likely to be called up if there's like an injury thing or something like that. So I totally understand the quibbling, but at the same time, like, he does kind of offer a little bit of a hedge.
Okay, well, let me offer a counter to that. He spends so much time talking about his criteria of the list that he forgot to Google what eminent means. It means about to happen. And if Ethan Salas is about to happen on the Padres, I'm a duck.
No, I mean, it would be the single dumbest thing that the Padres franchise could do right now. I come up with a dumber thing. Ethan Salas has he is currently being talked about by people not in this organization as the next Buster Posey. Buster Posey is going to be in the Hall of Fame and help lead the Giants to 3 world championships. You know what the Giants didn't do They didn't call him up when he was 18 years old so that he could become a free agent at 24. Like, that's what the Padres would do if they started Ethan Salas's clock this year for any reason, is they'd be setting him up to be a free agent at 24 to make $600 gazillion and to never be here. Like,
at best, or they could kill his development and he's a free agent when his time runs out and a team gives up on him.
Or they could just mess him up. They could mess him
Yeah.
up and set him backwards and have him be 21 and not have it figured out. So don't do that. Kyle Glazer was on our station on 97.3 with Ben and Woods at the beginning of this week. And he said, from Baseball America is very high on our minor league class. He said explicitly, the worst thing the Padres could do is bring any of these guys up this year. He said, this is a great class and none of them are ready. Merrill's not ready. Paulie's not ready. Marcy's not ready. Motorola, is not. I don't know. It's Motorola. I call him Motorola.
Mozzarella.
Martarella.
Martarella is not ready. Yeah. He's not ready either. So none of these guys are ready. Bringing them up is going to rush their development. It's going to screw them up. Throwing them into the wrong position when you rush them is going to screw them up even further. And I'm worried about that. We can go through some of this, but you mentioned Marcy. And I just want, can we start there? Because Longenhagen is the lowest on Jacob Marcy of anyone that you've seen this winter. He rated Marcy as not even a 45, but a 40 plus prospect value, future value. And his write-up was very interesting in terms of the frame of Jacob Marcy and his inability to get to certain pitches that basically he hasn't been exposed to because of the levels he's been playing at. In other words, there's pitches at a level higher than where he's been that they don't think he can get to. Like, just, it's going to be a permanent hole. So I bring up that, I lay out that review, Rafe, because I completely agree with what you said about AJ Preller, but I take it the other way. I think he's been dropping Jacob Marcy's name on purpose over and over for the old pump and dump. Mm-hmm. Pump him up and dump him off. And I think we're trading Jacob Marcy. I'm convinced we're making a significant trade before spring training or in spring training. I think we're making not a clear the farm trade. We're not trading Merrill. We're never trading Salas. We're not trading Lesko. We're not trading Snelling. We're not trading Iriarte. We're not trading Thorpe. But I think we're trading someone. I think we're trading Sammy Zavala. I think we might be trading Jacob Marcy. And maybe someone else in a deal, and maybe Ha-seong Kim in a deal to get something significant. A left-handed starting pitcher, a first baseman, a real outfielder with control that is not fucking Raimel Tapia, that we would be happy about. And if that trade's not coming, I really need an explanation about why my season ticket prices have gone up as high as they have, and what the hell we're doing as a franchise.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing about Marcy is that I think a lot of the pessimism from Longenhagen is that he doesn't think he's going to be a good center fielder, which I think is what's giving Marcy some of his value. For some people, is that he hits like this and he's going to play center field. Well, if he's not a good center fielder, then it doesn't really matter. I mean, to quote literally directly from the piece now, Longenhagen says, purely from an eyeball scouting standpoint, Marcy looks like he'll peak as a fourth outfielder. His statistical case, though, is much stronger than that. So, I mean, I totally agree with you, Craig, that there's probably a trade in our near future. And to point somewhere else on that piece, talking about Graham Pauley, surprisingly, I was kind of shocked that Longenhagen is pretty high on Graham Pauley, and says, that not only were his stats great, he often looks like a mini version of Corey Seager's cut, completely connected from the ground up. And he can yank across most of the zone to his pull side. Paulie's style of hitting is similar to Brandon Lowe's, though the very outer edge of the zone seems to elude him. This was the tidbit, though, that I thought was the most interesting. The one thing standing between Paulie and the top 100 list is his infield defense, which is currently untenable. So when I hear that, I'm just thinking, we'll just move him to the outfield then. That that actually does solve a problem. He's a lefty bat. Like, put him in left field. Like, Petco Park's left field is not the most difficult left field to play in Major League Baseball. And he's one of those guys who is kind of reminiscent, if it works out for him, of kind of what the Dodgers do in terms of drafting college bats that can come up and be ready relatively quickly in terms of the time scale. He was drafted in 2022. He had a brief stint in Double-A last year, so I don't think he's someone who, if the Padres are doing the right thing, is going to be immediately ready to contribute. But I mean, if we're talking about Raimel Tapia, like, being in the outfield, like, genuinely, like, if that's my option, like, I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe I will roll the dice on one of these guys and get a little lucky,
I'm completely with you, dude, and I like Marcy's tools for being promotable right now more than I like Paulie, because Marcy has got a great eye. He's had more walks than strikeouts throughout his career, and that's pretty rare, and that speaks to something that I think will play at the major league level. But I also think you're absolutely right, Craig. This does smell of the AJ pump and dump, and where do those guys play when they get dumped? Do they play in AAA?
What do you mean, for the team that we send them to?
No, they
Jacob
play
Morrison?
for the Padres.
Right.
I'm saying
Oh,
he
okay.
brings people up to the major leagues and then he trades them.
Okay. I mean, I see what you're saying. I do see that. I think we're all right in a weird way. Like, Raphie, I think Graham Paulie could absolutely be the Padres left fielder in, like, June, replacing Raimel Tapia. Like, we get some crappy. Remember, Rougned Odor was in right field last year. Like, we've had crappy placeholders. Robinson Cano's been on our team before. Like, all of these things have happened. So I would be very unsurprised to have the Padres come up with a basic plan of, let's put some super mediocre, cheap, MLB proven outfielders on our roster. And now let's have the most aggressive spring training you've ever seen. And Paulie and Marcy and all these guys and Merrill play every day. And Merrill's playing third base every day in spring training, just in case he's good enough to break there while Manny is hurt. And Paulie is playing left field every day, just in case he hits 700 and breaks through. But more likely, Profar is starting in left, and whoever is in center, and Tatis is in right. And then when they get a couple more months, and they get more confidence and they get a little more experience, and the guy we have is hitting 215 with a 570 OPS, then we make a switch and we flip out, and we flip the bad guy out for the young guy, and everyone's excited for the young guy, as opposed to a young guy coming up going 3 for 45 to start his career, and then we're like, Graham Paulie sucks. Now we have to start Profar.
I mean, you're manifesting it, Craig. I'll give you that.
I've seen the world.
Is there a board to your
forward.
right with just pictures of dreadlocks and 210 batting averages and
You haven't even met Raimel Tapia's girlfriend yet. Like,
percentages?
I mean, you haven't even started the research. Neither have I. But who knows? Maybe it's a Morahone situation. Maybe everyone will get very, very excited going for it. I don't know. I hope there's a trade. I felt the Longenhagen piece generally was encouraging. I'm really excited for Iriarte, him getting a 50 FV right next to Thorpe.
Yeah.
And Lesko. Like, I really think if we hold our water, if we break the cycle to some extent this year, I think 2025 and 2026 are going to be genuinely exciting for the Padres. Like, that Dodger feeling of, like, we've got stars and we've got this overflow of exciting young talent, and it's coming, and, like, we're cooking with gas. I feel like this is the year with the missing Lego piece. And how the hell do we get across the bridge this year and have this year not be just transitional, cleaning the CBT, breaking the cycle, Schilt magic, praying for 85 wins. Kind of like that's just like our whole year. Is like if it all comes together, we win 86 and then we make the playoffs.
It's a big trade for a great starter, right? That's what it is.
It's Luzardo, isn't it? Is it Luzardo?
Yeah, Luzardo would be. I mean, I don't see. Gosh, we'd have to give up a lot to get Jesus Luzardo.
Kim, Marcy, and
I
Bergert.
don't know if that. Who?
Bergert?
No, it's going to need to be Lesko or Snelling.
Mazer?
No,
I like Mazer. Let's give him Mazer.
I do too, but they're not like the Marlins don't go for that. Like Luzardo has control. No, it would be Snelling or Lesko. It'd be one of those two, and the guys you said.
I don't know. You never know. If it was, it'd be tricky. I'd rather give up Lesko than Snelling. Maybe. I wouldn't rather give up either. But I feel like a trade's coming. I think the trade's going to bring a couple, 3 things. I think the trade's going to chip in a first baseman or something like that. If it's the Marlins, maybe the trade chips in like an AJ Puck type player that could slot into the bullpen as another late inning option.
Yeah, that'd be sexy. AJ Puck.
Are we willing to? What would it take to go? What would it take to go all the way with Cleveland? What would it take to go to Cleveland and get? I mean, listen. Let's just take that out of context and run.
You mean from Family Guy? Probably not much. I like his curves.
$20 and a smile. Is that all it will take? Like Bieber and Clase. What would it take? What would it take for the Padres to get Shane Bieber and Emmanuel Clase?
Clase's surplus value is so crazy because of his contract.
Yeah, it's
like
he's got a
insanely high.
ridiculously good contract.
Yeah, like it's insanely high. So I'm pretty sure his contract has him at a surplus value of like $40 million or something like that, and that's like Jackson.
I mean, the kind of fucky fuck website, Baseball Trade Values, has it at, I don't know how else to describe it. Has him at 51.4 million. To put that in context, there's only 2 people in the Padres organization who have a higher surplus value according to them, and that's Tatis and Ethan Salas. Merrill is at 44.5. Michael King is at 33.4. Campusano's at 26.1. So Snelling's at 23.1. So
what's Bieber? What's Bieber?
What is Shane Bieber's surplus value? Not nearly as much because he is only has 1 year left of his deal. It's 5.6. So to give you an equivalent in the Padres organization. Again, this is according to Baseball Trade Values. Don't add us. This is their little thing. That would be the equivalent.
The fucky fuck website.
I'm really referencing Succession when Connor Roy says I would like some sucky suck on my dicky dick. So I like to do like the icky kind of rhyme scheme. It's really funny to me. Sorry, this is completely off the rails. Eniel De Los Santos is a 5.7. That would be hilarious. Right?
Bieber for De Los Santos. Let's go.
I don't think there's enough cocaine in the world for AJ to pull that one off. Here's one that slightly does make more sense. Adam Mazer or Jacob Marcy, 5.7 value.
Marcy's value is way higher than that. That's a fucky fuck website.
It is. I know. That's what I'm saying. But it's good for dialogue and conflict, which is why we're referencing it right now.
Well, yeah. I mean, even just within this conversation, what you're telling me is that according to Fucky Fuck, if we traded Jackson
Craig's
Merrill
not on the radio anymore,
and I'm enjoying it, Jackson Merrill and another thing, that would probably be enough to get Bieber and Clase.
I think Jackson Merrill alone gets it done.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't want to.
Should we make that trade?
No, we should not make that trade.
Absolutely not.
No.
There's Jackson Merrill's Michael Brantley in the infield, like with a
So
good
then
glove.
we need to trade Ha-seong Kim then.
No, but he's not enough valuable either.
No, because Jackson Merrill isn't going to be here this year if we do everything right, is the thing. And then Kim's going to be gone next year. And look who comes in, like a ready-baked
Jackson Merrill.
guy. That's the plan. And like, I just think anyone else is just, I don't know.
Well,
God, we need
what
the
they
season to
shouldn't
start
be
so
is
badly.
they should not be idiots, and they should get Chris Sale on CBT hit of $3 million this year and next. That's what they should do.
That sounds great. Okay, real quick before we wrap up this show, there's other things that we can talk about on other shows.
Let's mention Leo though, just because that's going to happen before.
By next week, Padres fans should be in a lot better mood. Because next week, Leo DeVries, or is it DeVries? I don't know. DeVries, I think, is going to be signed by the San Diego Padres. And this is a kid that will slot in right behind Salas. And it is younger, so it's still going to take some time. But DeVries is one of these guys they've been talking about for 2 years as a can't-miss type player, as an impact, top-level impact player. Coming as an international signing. The Padres have had this kid under wraps for a long time. This has been a Preller pet project for a long time. One of the reasons we couldn't make some of our moves and sign a qualifying offer player was because that amount reduced out of international pool was already targeted to Leo DeVries. And I'm pretty psyched when this happens, guys. I just want to wait for it to get over the line.
Yeah, man. I'm totally waiting to be in the trailer having the contract signed on this to get my hopes up. There's been too many rugs pulled harshly in my time as a Padres fan. I still have, the whole, I think it was 2004 draft. I can't remember who the Padres were being talked about getting, and then they said the words Matt Bush, and the Padres franchise changed forever in a way. Oddly enough. So like I just want to, I know he's worn the Padre hat before. There's pictures of him in Padre hats, but I want to see him in a Padre hat signing a contract.
Yeah, I just want to note that he's been given by MLB Pipeline an overall future value rating of 55. This is the same future value rating that Ethan Salas had last year going into his signing. Going back to 2019, in that international signing class, Jason Dominguez for the Yankees was also given the same rating. He was obviously lauded as an international prospect. So just some things to think about. This is a guy who is a dude, and many people are saying, if he's not on that Ethan Salas level, it's not because he's worse than him, it's because he's potentially better. So we should be very, very excited by this.
Craig already wants to trade him for Shane Bieber and Emmanuel Clase.
What is it? Yeah, exactly. Put it in the fucky fuck. Can I get Emmanuel Clase? I want Emmanuel Clase. I did this on Annie and Elsten. You guys probably could lead this faster than me, but at this point, I am very much willing to accept Matt Waldron as a starter on the Padres this year. I thought you'd be the one to like this, Raphie.
So I can't believe you're the one shaking your head. Mr. Waldron.
You're the cauldron. You're bubbling the cauldron.
Founding member of the Waldron Cauldron here, okay, with Dakota and Hosmer apologist the artist formerly known as Hosmer apologist in the Discord chat. There's only really one proper way to use Matt Waldron in my mind, which is you have him as an opener 3 days a week. That's something that Dakota has talked about. And my feeling on that is that you crank up his knuckleball usage to like 80%. And you just say, you're just out there, you're throwing knuckleballs. That's all you're doing. You're getting through the top of the order, and then you're out of the game. You're going to throw 20 or 30 pitches. You do that 3 times a week. And that way you get the top, especially when we're going to be throwing Johnny Brito, Randy Vasquez, and some of these other guys, even Michael King, who's still in the process of making that transition from relief to full-time starter, like just getting them deeper into the games. it also lessens the impact of our potentially questionable bullpen, who, we'll see through the rest of the year, who sorts out as being hot or not. But, just for the beginning of the year, when we're trying to have guys soak up some innings, chew up some time to let people like Iriarte, Mazer kind of percolate up so that they're not having to make April, May debuts. They can make debuts. Drew Thorpe, by the way, June, July, August, save those innings for later. If he's going more than, 3 innings, I'm worried. Like, I am worried. Like, I think he can do it, but I think unless things have changed drastically and Ruben Niebla finds like a radioactive spider to bite him or something like that. Like, I think we're going to get the performance of a 6th starter, which is what I think he is, or a very, very cool opener, Craig.
Man, Raphie, I was ready to be Batman to your Two-Face Harvey Dent, but that was an amazing point, sir. You have convinced me.
Okay, well, it's all good, but here's the thing. Last year, and I understand, it's 41 innings. Matt Waldron had a 4.35 ERA and a 1.2 WHIP. And if you're going to tell me that that's going to be way worse than Sean Manaea or Frankie Montas or Luis Severino or Lance Lynn or Jack Flaherty or all these other clowns that are getting $15, $16 million a year right now on the free agent market, I look at what Waldron did in the big. This is what got me, okay? I went through his page. I looked through all his numbers. I know all you guys have done this stuff in the past, but it just really stuck for me that the way Matt Waldron pitched in San Antonio and the way he pitched in the big leagues was almost identical. Like, almost identical. And the way he pitched in AAA was a knuckleballer pitching on the moon. Horrible. So the air is never heavier in San Diego than it is in April. Night games at Petco. Yeah. The guy's 27, and he pitched over 130 innings last year between AAA and the big leagues. So if you're looking for a body that you could project 145 innings onto, Matt Waldron, you could project 145 innings onto very easily. Now, I would never use him more than 18 batters, right? 2 times through the lineup. And just like what you said, Raphie, my whole thing would be day 1 spring training, throw 75% knuckleballs. Be R.A. Dickey. Just go all the way in on knuckler. And who knows how good he could be? Because the more he threw his knuckler, the better his knuckler was. And this was my point that I made on the radio. He spent 2 years at AAA where his number 1 pitch was neutered, where the pitch that he should have been developing, he couldn't develop because it didn't move, because he was pitching at 3,700 elevation or whatever it is in El Paso. So what if, God forbid, he embraced the pitch, it danced at sea level, and the more he did it, the better it worked, and then it just worked. And then you've got a 4 ERA starter for $700,000 instead of spending whatever or trading whatever to get another guy that you're hoping will have a 4 ERA.
And he does have a framing wizard behind the plate this year that might catch his ball a little bit better than Gary Sanchez did. Kyle Higashioka. But I'm still with Raphie here, Craig, because he can get those innings opening games. And what I remember about his appearances is him doing pretty darn well until he started seeing guys again. So even if it's one full time through the lineup, he's going to get innings racked up. He's pitching a few times a week with all these new guys. And this is assuming, of course, they don't add a front of the line starter. We're going by what the roster is today. I just think it's kind of a dynamic use of the people on the team right now. And I wouldn't mind that so much. The Padres doing some raising as we transition to friggin' broke dick franchise.
Yeah, I just want to back up what you were saying, Chris. First time through the order as a starter, 3.38 ERA. Second time through the order, 5.40 ERA. That's just as
These
a starter.
These eyes don't lie, Raphie. These eyes never lie.
And I just want to, the other thing that I'll point out is that he made 8 appearances last year. In 5 of them, he gave up 2 earned runs or less. In 3 of them, he gave up 3 earned runs or more. The teams that he played against, In the good performances, 2 earned runs or less, were the San Francisco Giants, the Oakland Athletics, the Washington Nationals, and the St. Louis Cardinals. For the most part, bad teams. The teams which he performed poorly against were the Philadelphia Phillies, the Houston Astros, and the Arizona Diamondbacks. So, he does worse against good teams and does better against bad teams. Like,
I mean, sounds good to me. You're talking about a mediocre pitcher.
Hot tub guys.
This is what I'm looking for.
I know. but he pitched a lot more. Was what I'm saying, against bad teams than he did against good teams. Just remember our schedule last year. Remember the whole thing is we were supposed to have this cupcake schedule in September.
It didn't work out.
When did Matt Waldron pitch the most? It was at the end of the year. So I mean, again, it's like I'm a member of the Waldron Cauldron because I like seeing a knuckleballer pitch. It's different. It's it's baseball how I remember it when I was growing up. That's what I want to see. Let the big dog eat. Just let him do his thing. Like, why have a knuckleballer and just throw your 92-mile-an-hour fastball? No.
All knucks.
No.
Go all nucksy. And if you become Phil Necro, all the better. I mean, I'm just dreaming on things because I can see that we are dollarnaires now. We're on the dollarnaire menu, and it's not going to change. So I'm not going to start pretending that Katsenda is going to find, the key to Scrooge McDuck's, treasure coin, palace. I think that we're going to figure out these things. And just quite frankly, when I look at Waldron, I don't despair. I could imagine him pitching 125 slightly below league average innings for the San Diego Padres for $750,000. And I could very, very easily imagine like the last 10 guys signed off the free agent market, not named Yamamoto, pitching 135 leagues or slightly below league average innings for $16 million or $15 million. So at this point, I'm willing to convince myself of anything. Let's put a pin on it right there, because maybe someday something cool will happen, and then we'll talk about that instead of just making shit up and talking about the fuck machine and everything else in between.
I love that part of it. I'll keep doing that every week.
That's fair. Leo DeVries is coming. We've got some FV guys, and the Dollarnaire menu, has some tasty value bits like a chicken wrap and whatnot that we may in fact use as our 5th starter or left fielder this year. Consider the KC mac and cheese chicken wrap as a potential 4th outfielder for San Diego this season.
Yeah. We're going to be finding our way to Petco Park using the hobo code written on the side of the the steel beams.
Hey, Marcy may not hit a lot of home runs, but he has McDouble power.
Padres hot tub. Please, AJ. Please.